I'm Jill Coppell, and this is New Leaf Organics. We're in Moncton, Vermont, and we're standing in front of our barn, which is just today started to be transformed into the downstairs is going to be transformed into our new wash pack storage shed. We're standing in front of the upstairs floor of our barn, and currently we've been using this as our wash pack for the last 5 or 6 years. And the produce comes from up there in the fields, and it comes down here and we unload, and then we have all of our sinks and coolers upstairs. But we've had a ton of problems with this area. We've been making it work for long enough, but first of all, there's a ton of water in the barn, and it's just been really tricky to keep the health of the barn maintained. And then the topography of this area is kind of hard to see because we have a ton of snow, but the topography is such that it's always kind of a cluster here where you can only really fit one vehicle or one tractor here at a time, and so it's always kind of like you're constantly moving and shuffling cars out of the way so you can load and unload produce, and there's no real great way to flow in and out, so that's always tricky. And there's this real big hill here, and so when we're leaving the farm with deliveries of flower arrangements and bouquets and kind of fragile stuff, this is like the most treacherous part of the whole drive wherever you're going. So looking to really kind of fix issues with too much water in the barn, really bizarre kind of flow constriction here, and then better flow from the field and through and around, as well as having more cleanable surfaces. So we've got wood here. We put down some kind of linoleum on the ground in our wash pack zone, but it's really hard to clean and it's really hard to maintain it to a level we'd really like to be able to, and we can't really spray anything here because we're really concerned with too much water in the barn. You can see right now we bring everything in here, and this is our main kind of wash pack zone, and in the summer we have a couple more tubs set out here. So everything gets washed, and then the coolers are over in here, and you can see what we put down on the floor to kind of minimize the water drainage issues that we were having. But then there's this whole area that we've just been kind of deteriorating over the last few years, the wood, as well as just awkward nature of flow and the doors in and out for foot traffic. And then where we can store bins, there's really hard to find a place to store and clean bins separately and maintain the separate storage versus harvest bins that we want to be doing. And also be able to maintain separate space for vegetables and flowers. Increasingly we're doing more flowers, and we really want to try to be able to keep them separate, but it's been really tricky in this setup. So looking for increased winter storage space because we're kind of limited on that end as well, and then separating the flowers and vegetables. We had sinks over on that side before, and it was much more of a cluster inside the barn, so now we have this big opening, so these doors pretty much stay open all summer, and then we can just, we have this open area to work with, and at least we can kind of brush the water down through this little crack that we've created to kind of help drain downstairs where there's a cement slab. So it was definitely an improvement, but it did not help us with rodent trouble. We definitely have a lot of rodent trouble in here, and it's really difficult to find ways to keep them out. The lights were an unbelievable improvement. We added a few of these shop lights last year, and it's made such a difference. So that alone was a really big improvement, as well as we bought this cooler used off of another farm and reassembled it, and that was a really nice improvement for us, just kind of at least doubling our cooler space. And then creating more of a separate flower zone, which we did last year as well by buying all these shelves. So we were able to put all the vases and flower stuff, kind of keeping it separate. So that was really our flower zone, and then this is our vegetable zone. So it was one big step, one big improvement, but it really made us realize how much more we really wanted to be able to improve this space.